जी पापड़ पापड़ ये मारे घूमे दे हां ये दे माता जी 1 minute one more item
Hare Krishna.
Hare Hare everybody can stand up. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Yeah. Very good. Now we can all stand up. Please stand up. We will have a Guru Puja to Prabhupada. So we will all face Prabhupada. So Prabhupada will go. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Guru Nitai, Guru Nitai, Guru Nitai, Jai Guru Nitai. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Jai Jai Gurudev, Gurudev, Jai Jai Hare Krishna. So now you can now have a seat, please. Have a seat. We'll now get to hear from His Divine Grace Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai Shri Prabhupada Super Saturday Festival ki. So first of all, on behalf of Iskcon Atlanta, I'd like to welcome you all, and we appreciate that you all have come for this wonderful festival which is known as Super Saturday to our beloved founder Acharya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So this first Saturday of the month generally is dedicated to Srila Prabhupada in Iskcon Atlanta, and we offer Guru Puja. We get to hear Srila Prabhupada. So how many of you have come here for the first time? Let's see some hands. First time. Let's give a round of applause for all those devotees who have come for the first time. Thank you all for coming. So, if you don't know what is Super Saturday is the first Saturday of the month. Then we offer Guru Puja to Srila Prabhupada, and we want to show or teach people how to worship the spiritual master. Srila Prabhupada has done so much for us. So now it's our duty to do something for him. He was only a single person who came from India, and he came with the message of God. So Srila Prabhupada was born in 1896 in India, in Calcutta, and then throughout his life he was a devotee of Krishna. His parents, Gaur Mahanta, his father, was a wonderful devotee of Krishna. And he trained his son Abhay. His childhood name was Abhay. So he gave him the name called Abhaya Charanaravinda. So Gaur Mahanta, he trained his son how to become a pure devotee of the Lord. Even though Gaur Mahanta, he was a merchant. He was actually doing business with the clothing merchant. But still he took off some times to train his son how to become a devotee of Krishna. So throughout his life he practiced Krishna consciousness, and then when he gets then he went to school, he studied in the Scottish Church College in Calcutta, and then finally he visited so many temples around India, and then he thought that I should accept a bona fide spiritual master. So he was going to different places looking for a bona fide spiritual master, but he saw so many sadhus in India, but he was not happy with their behavior. And then 1968, he established Iskcon, an international society for Krishna consciousness, and throughout the world he established over 108 temples, and he wrote over 70 books in English, and those books are translated now over 100 languages all over the world. And this is Srila Prabhupada, and now all over the world through his disciples and grand disciples, these teachings are carried on, and nowadays we have over 600 temples around the world, farm, schools, cow protection centers, all that. And then we have hundreds and thousands of congregations all over the world. So these are all work of one single man from India, which is known as Abhayacharya Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. So Prabhupada said, if you all come together, how much can you do? So now you can get to hear Srila Prabhupada will be speaking on Rath Yatra. Jagannath Ratha is coming soon, so you hear him. Then after that we'll have a little bit question and answer, then we'll have prasadam for everyone. Do not leave without taking prasadam. Hare Krishna.
Blue. So, Kanam was playing on flute. So this Krishna's flute is not our imagination, it is in the Vedic literature. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, He likes play on flute. Just like here in this material world also, there are many boys who like to play on flute. Where from this flute playing idea came, so that answer is given in the Vedanta. Janmadasya, all ideas, everything is coming from him, from Krishna. Unless there is in Krishna, there cannot be anything in this material world. Janmadasya, just like Janma, here somebody is birth from father or mother. So the symptoms of the father and mother, the facial expression, even the spot and the face, everything becomes better. And the child. So you can study what is God by studying yourself. That is Mahabharata philosophy. They take it in a different way, that I am God. Reflection. God, it is the God reflection. No, we are reflection. God is not our reflection. We are God's reflection. So, if we actually meditate upon our own constitution, then why we should conclude that God is impersonal? I am person, I am individual. I have got my individual opinion. I do not agree with others. Why? Because I am individual. You do not agree with me, I do not agree with you. Why? Because we are all individuals. So why God should be not an individual? He is also individual. That is the statement in the Veda. Nitya nityanam chetana chetananam ego bahunam vidadati kama. Nitya, nitya means eternal. And we are eternal, all. We change our body, we don't die. As we are changing daily, every moment, changing the body. So, the final change means accept another body. This is also accepting another body, but imperceptible. The change is so quick, just like in the cinema spool, that there are so many pictures changing, but it is changing so quickly that we are seeing one picture moving. So that is our ignorance. But actually there are thousands of pictures changing in a moment, and you see that one picture is moving. Why do not study in this way? Similarly, every second our body is changing. Just like spoon. One after another, one after another, one after another. But I am the spirit soul is there. Just like the cinema spool is changing, but the seer is there. That is what. Although the pictures are changing. Similarly, we are Nitya. Nitya means eternal. And we are Nitya, then why God should be dead? They say God is dead. Now what is foolishness? You are part and parcel of God, you are living, you are existing, and why the original soul should be dead? And these are our foolishness. The meditation means to think over all these subject matter very intelligently, not like a rascal. That if I am person, why God should be person? If I am eternal, why God should be dead? This is meditation. To study diligently. If I have got an instinct to love others, so why God will not have this instinct to love others? If I have got attraction for the opposite sex, why God should not have? Why he should not be attracted by Radharani? Very simple truth. And why Radharani should not be attracted by Krishna? But the difference is, here everything is false. False means the attraction is not a real attraction. But there the attraction is real. Here I am attracted with a boy, with a girl. After 6 months, finished. Because there are so many defects. Therefore, the attraction does not exist. It is all defective. This body is false. False in the sense, it is an imitation, just like you see one idol in the dress shop, very nice girl standing, but it is a false. Similarly, this body, made of material elements, is not our real body, false. Similarly, the girl's body is false, therefore because false, the so-called love and attraction is also false. Therefore, our so-called love breaks. There is no love here, it cannot be. There cannot be any love. This is, that tendency is there. But due to this material contamination, a lust is going on in the name of love. Actually it is lust. So, we should discriminate between lust and love. Love cannot be accepted unless it is reposed in Krishna. That is love. All other everything, that is lust. It appears to be similar, but love and lust, there is so much difference of value, just like gold and iron. Gold and iron. Real love is gold. How you can evaluate gold and iron at the same level? It is not. So, we have to learn real love. But that is how to love Krishna. Our whole process is training people how to love Krishna. Just like this temple, for Krishna, we are all engaged in Krishna's service, nice throne, Krishna nicely dressed. But the atheist will say, these people are foolish. They have taken a brass idol and they are engaged. That is false. Actually, we are engaged in Krishna's service. We are addressing Krishna directly. We are offering flower Krishna. Krishna has kindly accepted the Archamurti incarnation to be handled by me. Otherwise, just like Arjuna saw the Virat Murti, the universal form of Krishna, he was trembled, he was afraid. He requested Krishna, please become again just like my friend. This is very clear. So Krishna, because he is all powerful, Brahma, Para-Brahma means the bigger than the biggest and the smaller than the smallest. Anudaniya Mahatoniya. Anu means part. You have got idea, atom. Krishna can enter into the atom also. Annantarastham, Paramanu Chayantarastham. Paramanu means atom. Krishna can become so big that many universes can be put into his mouth. Just like Jasodama, Mother Jasoda, he wanted to check whether they have eaten dirt. Show me your face, mouth. As soon as Krishna opened mouth, Jasoda, all the universes are And so Dasharama, out of affection, she thought, this is something called unexplored. That is God. Mother, you want to see whether there is some dart within my mouth. You see, the whole universal darts are within. Therefore, Mahato Mahiya. Within that mouth, he exhibited all the universe. How it is possible? Yes, it is possible. Just like and the globe, we see the whole world. Here is America, here is Asia, here is this and this. That is wonderful. It is the process of. To understand the process. Similarly, to understand God, He requires a process. You have to know the process, the secret process. That is God. Bhaktyamam vijanati. Krishna says, only through devotion and service you can understand Krishna. Otherwise, to understand God, Krishna is not very difficult. It is very easy. He becomes revealed to the devotees, but there is no difficulty. Simply we have to become sincere, devotee. Our service must be very sincere and authentic and very direction, our authority. Then you will understand God. There is no difficulty. Tisam anukampartham. And the Bhagavad Gita is saying, Tisam evanukampartham. Tisam means not ordinary person. Those who are devoted, sincere devoted. To show them special favor. God is kind to everyone, but is specially kind to His devotee. That is His special. He is kind to everyone. Otherwise, how everyone is eating? Nobody is starving. Ego bhavanam vidadati kaman. Ego, that one eternal being, he is supplying everyone's necessity. And for the plural number of eternals, they are dependent on this one. Ego bhavanam vidadati. So we have to study Vedas through authoritative sources. We have to follow the rules and regulations. Then, in this life, we shall be able to understand what is God, what is Krishna. And as soon as you understand Krishna, you are liberated. There is no doubt. Because without being liberated, nobody can understand Krishna. Nobody can understand Krishna. Tatuvān tattatū gyatva visadhi tadananta. The Bhagavad Gita is saying that first of all you have to become liberated. Brahma Bhuta, that is called Brahma Bhuta. Identification with Brahma. That is liberation. Now we are identifying with this matter. Material elements, everyone is illusion, and this body. They are from America, they are from India, they are from this, they are from that. Everyone. And this is called jiva, ignorance. And as soon as one becomes Brahma, he understands. Prasannaatma, oh, I am neither American, nor this, nor that, I am eternal servant of Krishna. That is Brahma. Simply to change the concept. But at the present moment of consciousness is material and identifying with matter. Same thing, consciousness when changed, you identify with Krishna, Krishna's interest, then you are divided. Thank you. Is that all right? Or if there is any question, you can make question. Yes. Yes. Well, provided they take it seriously. Otherwise, if they keep their mentality differently, then according to mind, one has to get the body. But just like so many boys, they come here in the beginning out of curiosity. But gradually they get the chance and become a devotee. Similarly, if they take the chance, then they will be devotee. They come out of curiosity, but they take it seriously, then they will be devotee. That's like hospital is meant for curing disease. So once you take the treatment, if you simply go and visit the hospital and things are cured, how you can? Hospital is because if I advertise that anyone who comes to this hospital, he will be cured of disease. That's a fact. But if we think that I have come here, now I am going, then how will you care? To see Jagannath and the Rath Yatra is way for liberation is open. But if he comes back again and entangles himself, then one goes to the doctor, he gives injection, the disease is cured. But again he comes back and does the same thing so that he develops the disease again. So whose fault it is? This is called Vastisna. Vastisna, the elephant takes part very nicely. And as soon as comes on the bank of the river or the lake, it takes dust and throws body again. If we do that, and then we shall remain all in dirty. We go, take bath, cleans, but don't take dirt again. But that is not good. They become immediately mukta, liberated, but they come again, enter. If it is a fact, seeing Jagannath is mukta, that's an indicates mukta. But if it again comes to Maya, then you can check it. And just like you are all on the path of liberation. But if you again come back to Maya, then what is your liberation? Why Jagannath in the last year? If somebody comes here and sees his path for liberation is open, now he should protect himself. It's like disease, fever is subsided. Now one should be careful not to relax. That care is in my hand, everyone's hand. And if you become prone to be relaxed again, then again the same thing. Just like in distant charms, they confess. Of course, that is injunction. That's all right. After confessing, the sins are excused. That's a fact. But if he comes back again, commits the same.
Darshan is close. Hey, darshan karo, darshan karo. ঠাকুর স্ত্রী?
How beautifully spoke. Anyone has any questions? For Prabhupada, or you want to share something that Prabhupada spoke? Okay. So, if you want to hear Prabhupada, there are so many series of lectures in YouTube. You can go to the YouTube and you can hear so many lectures of Srila Prabhupada. Or sometimes you can also find CDs and tape players. You can hear Prabhupada lectures. Prabhupada gave hundreds of lectures from Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. You can hear them. They are very, very powerful lectures. And it's once it touched your heart, you can really change your life and you can become devotee of Krishna. You see, Prabhupada, when he came to America, he preached so intelligently and so from the heart that it touched the heart of all these American people here in those days. And so many people have changed their life. So sometimes Prabhupada will say, hippies become happy by chanting Hare Krishna, by hearing Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada, what was his weapon that he used to change the people? Prasadam. He used to make, with his own hand, he used to make Samsvat Krishna Prasadam and personally he used to distribute them. And by taking that Prasadam, slowly, so many young people, they joined him. And slowly they start following the 4-degree principle and slowly they become his disciples. And through them, he established this worldwide movement known as Hare Krishna movement. So this is the activity of Srila Prabhupada. So today we have a sponsor. I'd like to call upon Dimple and Parinal Majumdar family to come forward, please. They are sponsoring this beautiful prasadam for all the devotees for today. It is the anniversary of our father, Ranjit Kumar Basu. So this is his actually first anniversary. So Dimple and Prabupad, they are devotees of this temple for many, many years. And they've been serving this temple for many years. In many ways, they always help the festivals. Anytime you ask them some seva, they always do. So please give a round of applause for their wonderful seva that they do for you. So we're now going to pray for her father, Ranjit Kumar, by raising hand, one time loudly chanting Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. Mataji, কিছু বলবেন নাকি? পরিমলদা, কিছু বলবেন? I think this is a wonderful family. This is her husband, Parimolda, so also another wonderful devotee, and this daughter and the husband.
The son, 2 daughters and son.
And let's give a round of applause for her. She gave $5,000 for the Rath Yatra festival for Prasadam on Rath Yatra day. Hari Bol! And then we have a few announcements, then we'll have Prasadam. On May 11th is Nishinga Chaturdashi, appearance of Lord Narasinghadev. So generally in the evening we'll have from 4 p.m. there will be Jagya, then there will be Abhishek, followed by class, Arati and Kirtan. So you please pencil those dates in your calendar so you can come. You can take your valuable time out and please come for this wonderful festival. You'll enjoy it. There's so many beautiful things happen throughout the day and in the evening hours also. But most of the festivities will take place in the evening hours. And then there is 6 and 7 and 8 of June, there is Maharatha Yatra, Panihati festival. So on the Friday there is Adivas ceremony, and then on Saturday the 7th is the Ratha Yatra festival. So these days that you see Logannath, Baladev and Subhadra, they'll go to downtown by limousine and will be escorted by limousine, and there will be police also ahead, and they'll go to downtown from Walton Street. Rath will begin at 12 noon. But you can come here before around 9 a.m. and you can have prasadam, and you can do kirtan. There will be also shuttle service to take the devotees to downtown, but you can also go with your own car. So this is on that day, and then in the evening there will be more festivals. Festivals will take place in the temple, but right after Rath Yatra you can all come back here and take Mahaprasad here. There will be prasad served in the temple. And then on the 8th is a Panihati festival, the Satuarday Mahotsav. So there will be a festival going on from around 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. and it will go on until like 2 to 3 p.m. There will be a nice cheap price festival. There will be a nice lecture by different Prabhupada disciples. Prabhupada Katha will be there. And there will be more kirtan. And there are so many nice Maharajas and devotees are coming from all around the world. You'll get to hear from them also. So please come, please pencil those dates. And then coming Wednesday is Ekadashi. So we'll have Kirtan night 6 to 8 p.m. So please come for that also. Any other? Yes, we'll have prasad. And we'll also have 8 p.m. we'll have Mahaprasad. You can enjoy prasad. There's no festival without prasad. So any questions? Okay. If any devotee wants to do any seva for Rath Yatra festival, there are some forms and flyers are there. You can take them. You can distribute them. You can, if you have a friends or if you have a shop or if you know like Global Mall, some other places that you know, you can keep some there and distribute to your friends and families, neighbors, whoever you meet, you give them so that they can come for this festival. We want to make a really big propaganda about Rath Yatra festival so we can have more devotees because we have a 60-foot tall Rath. So we want devotees to pull that Rath. So we need many devotees. And then they also can volunteer for this seva. We have vegetable cut-ups, we have pot cleaning, temple cleaning, and there are many other activities during those 3 days that you can help. So if you want to do any volunteer seva, you can see Lakshman Prabhu, you can see me, or you can see Vedasa Prabhu, you can give your names and we engage you in different seva. So please take this opportunity, this is your temple, please come and help this temple. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for coming. So we'll have now.
Hare Krishna. It's a Rath Yatra 6, 7, 8 June. We're serving all day prasad. Anytime you come, you get the prasad. Don't worry. Don't go back home. Just come here, do some seva or enjoy Kirtan, Rath Yatra and get the prasad. We're serving prasad early morning 9 to until 10 p.m. 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. 3 days. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Lot of prasad. Please come and help us. Thank you. Very well.
Okay, so now the temple, the prasad will serve inside the temple. You can sit in the temple in a queue. Just sit.
One line this.
And we might need some devotees to help serving prasadam. So if anybody wants to volunteer seva, you can see Lakshman.
Rise up, I put it. Now put it up. Other Sharon and Sarah. You want the cereals?
Sabji.
Sorry, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, why eat a little bit? Give more. You have a lot of prasad. Give the wrong spoon. Or down. You take the wrong spoon. The wrong spoon. We have a lot of prasad. We are coming back. Don't worry. Okay? You take the wrong, go take the one glass. Better. You take the wrong spoon. Huh? There's a lot of pressure here, whole unit. Ajay, this one. Hey, right down. Ajay, right down. Right down.
Against 950, you cannot carry.
No, it's already keep this, sir. Maybe there. Hey, Ponisham is coming. More Ponisham is coming. Don't leave. Don't leave. Stay here. More coming.
नीचे है नीचे नीचे नहीं उधर बगल में उधर जाओ उधर 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 अंदर में और भी एक डेस्क चाहिए।
अच्छा कहाँ पर?
हाँ तो उधर में और ये मंदिर में আপনার পিছনে আমার ক্যামেরা আছে
ও আচ্ছা
না খেলে আপনার তো পিছনে পড়ে গেছে আপনার ছবিটা তুলতে পারছি না
হরে কৃষ্ণ
ঠিক আপনি একটু হেসে দিন
হরে কৃষ্ণ
ঠিক আছে शिल प्रभुपाद की हाँ बिल्कुल हाँ उधर ही झूला दो उधर ही तब अपने लोग देख पाएगा
Taking out of it.